pixelated quilts that make you smile, and fabric for everyone, especially if you like video games, comics, pop culture, and more. If you want to enter a world full of smiles, geekiness, some crazy antics, as well as some massive action with heartwarming charity work, then it's time for you to meet Quiltoni. Hello and welcome to the Quilter on Fire podcast. I'm Brandy Maslowski, a former firefighter turned quilt professional. As a quilt teacher, speaker, and judge, I travel the globe to bring quilters more joy and less overwhelm. Not too long ago, the quilty life I now lead was just a dream. After many lessons and a lot of hard work, I've transitioned from juggling a day job and a quilting business on the side to becoming a full-time quiltpreneur. I started the Quilter on Fire podcast to create a vibrant community of quilters, artists, and makers. Each episode brings you inspiring stories, insights, and the pure joy of guests from all over the world. If their stories uplift you and spark joy, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and ignite that creative fire within you. My guest today is Toni Smith. We all know her as Quiltoni. She is known for more things than I can list here, including pixelated quilts, her love for everything Mario and games and comics and pop culture, her racing suit antics in the Bernina booth with the Burnett machines and the Jelly Roll races, her guerrilla marketing for charity, and so much more. Today, we will have an action-packed episode talking about all the wonderful, weird, and geeky things Toni brings to the sewing and quilting world. You can't even have an encounter with Quiltoni without crossing your legs so you don't pee your pants. Her smiles and laughter are contagious, and her heart explodes all over everyone she meets in her charity work. This is going to be a great conversation. Toni, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brandy. So I make you pee your pants sometimes?
You make me try not to pee my pants. I have so much fun every time I encounter you at a show. The first thing that happens is you greet me with this massive smile and laughter and everything fun. So thank you for always bringing a smile to my face.
You are welcome. I mean, I try very hard. We need to spread some more happiness in the world.
Yeah, you are such a bundle of joy. So I love hanging out with you, seeing you at all the shows. Once in a while, we get to have a meal together. But today we're going to have some fun on the podcast. So let's get started by taking a look back at where you got started. So when do you first remember putting stitch to fabric?
So I got started, and we'll talk about later on. I'm 50 this year, so we'll talk about all that stuff later. Yeah. But I got started when I was about 32 years old. My grandmother quilted, and I never had any interest. And it wasn't until after I went through a divorce that I had all this time on my hands. And I'm like, I need a new hobby. So why not pick one of the most expensive hobbies in the world?
Yes, so true. So were there certain people in your life at that time that really had a creative impact on you, like got you into quilting or anything?
So I actually chose quilting because growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. And so in order to get me to be creative and make Christmas gifts at the same time, my mother taught me how to cross stitch when I was 6 years old. So cross stitch was actually one of the foundations of my crafting universe growing up. And I started designing my own cross stitch patterns at 12 years old. So when I was trying to find this, I always joke it's, the most expensive. But honestly, I needed a new hobby. I needed something to fill my time. And so I pulled out a craft catalog and said, what can I learn? And I looked at quilting and I went, I wonder if I can take my cross stitch and turn it into quilts.
Yeah.
And I learned how to quilt to do exactly what I'm doing today.
Yeah, and you can definitely see the relation between cross stitch and pixel quilts, right? Pixelated quilts. So can you tell us about your first quilt?
So the very first quilt I ever made was actually a gift for my current husband. He was only a friend of mine. I think he was just my best friend or a good friend at the time. We weren't dating or anything, but I needed to make something. So I actually created a Mario character, the Tanuki Mario, for anyone that's familiar with video games, from Super Mario 3, because that was his favorite character.
Yeah.
because I needed to figure out how this was going to work. And we actually still have that quilt upstairs on the couch.
Oh, that is so sweet. So that
Yeah.
was your first quilt that you made for your now husband. Did you make a transition through education, career, and multiple things before you came to having a career in quilting or sewing?
Absolutely. So a former life, I lived in the States, actually. I live in Canada now, but I lived in the States and I was a middle school math teacher. And then I actually was teaching during 9/11 at a military base in Maryland, just
Oh,
outside, of course, where the Pentagon was hit.
yeah.
And I had a few students that lost people. And so it was a very hard year for me. So I transitioned that year into running my parents' insurance agency.
Oh,
And so business, and then I went and got a master's of business and I did all of that. And then I met and married my current husband and moved to Canada. And in the meantime, all that, I learned quilting and all that other. And so everything I have done to up until this point has prepared me to be a quilt teacher.
yeah. All those little tidbits. I mean, the education you have as
Mhm.
a teacher just works so well in the quilting and sewing world. And the financial aspect of running a business and being involved in your parents' business, that would be perfect. Okay. So how did you grow and change over time with your current quilty biz?
So that it's funny. I had no interest in doing this for a living at all. I
Yeah.
worked for my parents in the insurance agency, and I belonged. Do you remember the old chat boards?
Oh my gosh.
I belonged to an online chat board community called Sprite Stitch.
Oh.
And for those cross stitch nerds out there, they're going, yeah, because they know what I'm talking about. Sprite Stitch was a place that nerdy cross stitchers from around the world got together and shared patterns, tips, tricks, and they used to do a swap every single year.
Mhm.
And the one year, the person that I got from a swap was a huge Zelda fan. So I'm like, well, let me make them a Zelda quilt. So made them a Zelda quilt, sent it to them because we had to make things that were not cross stitch related because,
Yeah.
we're all cross stitchers.
Yeah.
And they got it, posted it up on the boards, and literally 200 people messaged me saying, I want to buy one. Where can I get one? How can I get this? And I'm going, wait, money for things? I could sell what? So after that, I started creating and selling. And then my very first convention was the Baltimore Comic-Con, where
Oh.
I sold a few quilts, and I mean, this is impressive. I made a whole $500. My
Wow.
very first, but it was big for me, right?
Yeah.
Because it was my first, I sold quilts.
Yeah.
And from there it took off. And after a few years, I had cosplayers come to me. They said, you know what? I love this, but I can use a sewing machine. I want a pattern.
Mhm.
And my brain went, wait, I don't know if my brain can go into your brain. I got a weird brain.
Yeah.
So then I had to figure out how to pattern it and design what I'm doing so a cosplayer who doesn't know anything about quilting can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what's turned into the pattern line that has just grown and evolved through the years.
Yeah.
And my basics line, a lot of stores use it to teach kids how to sew and how to quilt because it is so basic and has things like this is the right side of fabric, this is the wrong side of fabric. The basic things that you need to know when you first get started.
Yeah. So it gradually evolved into a business. So was there kind of a defining moment when you thought, okay, this is my thing. I can do quilting for a living?
It was Gen Con. Gen Con, which is the industry trade show for tabletop gaming. The first year that I did Gen Con was, I believe, 2015. And I had already started, and I wasn't doing this full time. I was still working, part time. In fact, at that point, I was a manager of a Michaels here in town. And I just took off for 2 conventions a year to do this. And I'm at Gen Con, and just the joy in people's eyes whenever they saw the patterns, and it just that whole environment of doing that. And then I learned that Gen Con had classes. So that next year I started teaching classes and being directly in front of people as I'm teaching them how I do and what I do. It just clicked within me. And the next year I quit my job and became full time. And this is what I now do.
Oh, that is so fun. Well, and so I actually said the words quilting business, which I think doesn't really cut it because your business is just so much more than that. So, but I want to take a moment out of the story for a second. We're going to get back to the business and what you do. But where are you living right now, and who are your loved ones that you share your world with every day?
So I live in London, Ontario. I love living in Canada. It is I am US born and I met my husband playing World of Warcraft.
Oh, fun.
So, and he had sole custody of his 6-year-old daughter whenever we started dating. So, whenever we decided to get married, we made the decision of I'm going to move here because at that point, we're not going to take her away from all of her family and
Yeah.
friends, anyone that she knows.
Yeah.
So, probably one of the best decisions I have ever made because London, if you haven't been here, it is an amazing little city.
Yeah.
It's adorable and I love it.
Oh.
So I live with my husband. Our daughter is now grown and moved out and lives on her own.
Aw.
But we foster with the Texas Chihuahua Rescue of Canada. So we're
Aw.
constantly having all sorts of dogs here, including 3 of our own
Yeah.
and 3 cats.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, awesome. Let's get back into the story.
Okay.
We're going to touch on design. You know, there's something that I saw on your Instagram feed that I want to touch on before we move on to design. And it is this wonderful design you created for free for everyone. It's kind of a little bit of a political statement or maybe just a support for your friends down in the USA. And it was a block with 3 arrows on it. Can you just tell us about that for a second?
So whenever there's a lot of political quilts, there's a lot of things out there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try to reach people in a way to have conversations.
Yeah.
I don't want to shove things down people's throats because sometimes that could alienate someone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to educate as well as broaden horizons. And so I went to a good friend of mine who is a history professor.
Mhm.
And I said, is there something that I could create that does not exist in our modern universe in the craft world? Because he's also a crafter.
Yeah.
That you think that I could show to people to help express what we're going through right now in the world.
Yeah.
And he pointed me out to the 3 arrows.
Yeah.
And the 3 arrows is actually a symbol of the anti-Nazi party of Germany,
Yeah.
where when World War II was happening and Adolf Hitler was rising to power, they adopted the symbol as a 3-pronged attack against all of the things that he stood for and all the things that the Nazi Empire stood for.
Yeah.
So I thought it was perfect because it's just a reminder of we need to be true to ourselves and not get bogged down in this world, or else things may happen before our eyes, like what happened with World War II. Like people didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
You could have seen it coming, but we just have to keep our eyes open and be aware of these 3 basic things around us in order to make sure that those things don't happen again.
Yeah. Well, it was such a good message when I saw it. I had to read into it. And then I clicked on the link. I'm like, this is so fascinating. This is something that you could take this free block. You could make it even just to sort through your feelings by making, and then you can post it on your feed to make a statement to the world. I just think it's such a great thing. So I wanted to mention that quickly.
Thank you.
Let's get back into the conversation about design. So you work with a partner and you've got a whole
Mhm.
team with your business. So when you see something in the world that sparks an idea, how do you capture it?
So it's interesting. So my partner, I actually met through Sprite Stitch through a swap, and she's a super well-known cross stitcher. If anyone cross stitches, you know who she is. Her name is Crafted Gurumi.
Yeah,
and she actually helps me with almost all my designs. And so when I'm out in the world, a lot of times if I'm like, hey, I really like this idea, I go to her and I say, is this possible in a pixel format? So our current art quilt line, the very first one, I went to her and I said, hey, I really want to do this. And she says, hey, I've been thinking about doing this in cross stitch. I said, great, let's work on this together. So we figured out a way and that's a lot of what she does too, is she helps design, but then I go in and say, no, we have to clean this up a little bit because quilters don't have 50 million purples.
Yeah.
We have like 5.
Yeah.
So I go through and it's a lot of back and forth, and she creates a lot of the designs, and I adore her. And it's just looking out looking at the worlds around us, trying to figure out, what is going to look good in a pixel format.
Yeah, super fun. And your world is full of color, right down to your eye-catching hairstyle that we see. So where do you pull your color inspiration from?
Everywhere. It's funny. I actually I'm working with a social media person right now, and she says, so if I'm making this right here, is this too much color? I'm like, oh no. Oh no, no, no. The more color, the better. And in fact, it was Nicole, my business partner, who taught me a lot about color,
Yeah.
because she went to school for art and for all of that stuff. And I never truly understood the color wheel. I never understood how different tones go together.
Hmm.
And now that I'm starting to really get into all of that and learn a lot of that, it's amazing and I love it. Just
Yeah.
kind of pulling in hey, can I bring in this color and this color over here? Do they work together? They shouldn't, but hey, look at this. They work together.
Yeah. I have to go back to your signature hairstyle for a minute because I spotted my favorite moment that I spotted on your Instagram feed was these gorgeous tight braids on top going into two space buns. It was pink and blue. It was so cute. Was that for like a marathon event or something like that?
It was for a half marathon
Yeah.
for Disney. It is the Run Disney events that I do for charity.
Are you able to do that yourself to your hair? Did someone do that for you? It was awesome.
No, there is an amazing, awesome person that I adore that she actually is out of New York, does a lot of the festivals and events in New York. Her and
Oh.
her entire team fly down to Orlando for each of those Run Disney events, and I make appointments with them. In fact, I was her first person at any Run Disney event ever a few years ago, and every single one I go to her now because she's amazing.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's hop over into the business a little bit. So why the business name Quiltoni?
Well, so whenever I first needed a business name, I put it out on Facebook to all my friends. I said, I need a name. And one of my friends goes, Quiltoni. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I'm quilting and my name is Toni, but there's only one T. Because, and I'm like, oh, there we go. That's easy. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, easy and fun. And yeah, we do have to remember Quiltoni only has one T. So when we're looking it up on Instagram and the the website and everything, remember there's only one T. So what do you bring to the world with your business in a nutshell?
I try to bring happiness. Everything that I do, I try to think about how this is going to help someone, either if they're making it themselves with their mental health of creating a work of art, or if they want to help spread the love of sewing to someone that hasn't sewn before. It doesn't make a difference how old they are. It doesn't make a difference their backgrounds or anything else. Everything I do, I try to do lots of color, lots of just joy in what we do, so that try to make this world a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I love is how you're bringing the generations together because you're celebrating your 50th year on Earth and you're catering to such a beautiful, wide variety of people who love everything that you're passionate about, right? So it's really nice that you're bringing people together. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about a quote that you love. So I'm going to read it and then we'll talk about what it means to you, okay? So the quote is, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference," by Robert Frost. So why is that quote meaningful to you?
It is something that I learned very, very young. If you take the easy way in life, no matter what you're doing, you're not learning and growing. You're not adapting. And what I tell people whenever I teach them anything at all, whether it's online, in a class, whatever, mistakes are good things. Because when we make mistakes, that's how we learn and we grow. And if you take a road less traveled by, it's going to be hard and it's going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
It's going to help you grow and you're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. That's what makes us who we are.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing a quote online. Maybe it was on a short little video online somewhere where one of the influencers was saying, when you feel the fear, that just might be the thing that's the most important for you in that moment. Go there, right? So I
Yeah.
love that. The road less traveled. That's such a great message. Okay, let's talk about the website. It's quiltoni.com. Quiltoni is with one T. So what kind of things will we find if we go over to your website?
So you can look at a couple of different things on there. The very first thing is I am raising money for charity. So it talks about all of that stuff. I talk about any lectures and workshops that I do. There's a couple of things I do when I travel. I go to stores and teach, events, workshops, things like that. I will go to guilds for lectures and events. But the number one thing that I'm known for is conventions. And I specialize in nerd conventions because that's what I have surrounded myself with for years. So there, right at the very top is a "Where's Toni?" So you can find me. Where am I going to be? Am I going to be at your local store? Am I going to be at a convention? Now, it's only the next 5 events. It's not like everything through the year. So I try to keep that updated so you know if I'm coming to you anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I've got all that on there. I also work with a lot of different companies. So I have my affiliate discounts. So this way, if you want to support me by clicking through on those, you absolutely can. Or if you want to save money yourself, some of them have discounts with them.
Yeah.
So you can click through on that. And of course, I do wholesale to stores and my patterns.
Yeah.
My patterns, my kits, all of that stuff you can find online. I always like to say, go to your local store to pick up my patterns. If you want a paper pattern, I do not sell paper patterns online, only PDFs. And if you're like, but Toni, I want a PDF, but I want to support my local store. Well, if you go to your local store, email me a copy of a receipt, I'll send you that PDF.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I want to take a moment here to touch on affiliate links for a second, because every once in a while I hear a creator or a maker or an influencer saying, don't worry, I'm not affiliated with them. I just like the product. I think it's okay to be affiliated because this is something that you love, you've tried, tested and true, and support. You're sharing it with your audience, and your audience can often get a discount, or even if they just buy it through your link, it's of no extra cost to them, right?
Exactly. It's the biggest thing with affiliates too, is that these companies don't pay me to talk about this stuff. They don't pay me to endorse them.
Yeah.
I have chosen to, because I love them so freaking much, to align with them. And because of that, we've worked out that affiliate discount to where, either if you go to them because of me, or if you get discounts, whatever it is.
Yeah. So it's so important. I think affiliate links are a great thing. So don't shy away from those. If you're thinking of buying an Oliso iron, for instance, and you love that, go to my affiliate link, that kind of thing, because it supports
which
the
we
creator.
both have affiliate links for, I believe.
That's right.
Because we both love Oliso.
We do, yeah. So it's just a great way to support a creator that you love. Okay, so back to the story, though. Community is something you care so much about. So tell me why.
Community is super important to me because I like to surround myself with others that help lift me up, but that I get to lift them up. I personally feel my self-worth when I help others. And you can't do that without a community around you. Yeah. And the community is also amazing to help you figure out your next step. Yeah. I mean, how many times if I'm live streaming and I go, hey, what do you guys think about this? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, but do it this way with this and this. And I'm like, oh yeah. When you collaborate with others, it helps not only you, but them, and you're better for it. Yeah. So yeah, community is a lot to me.
Oh, that is so true. Well, let's dive right into Twitch, because there might be people listening now. Quilters are of all ages. So some people might be familiar with Twitch. Some people might not be. So tell us, what is Twitch and what do you do there?
So Twitch is a live streaming service that specializes in video games. It's whenever I talk to someone, if they haven't heard of Twitch before, I said, well, have you ever heard of anyone that could make their living playing video games? And they're like, well, yeah. Well, that's Twitch. You have people playing video games that are live streaming it, and you can interact with these people. You can, throw money at them. You can, create a community around that. But it's not just video games. There's a whole crafting side to it as well. There are streamers of crochet, there's streamers of cross stitch, there's clay makers, there's Lego builders, and there's quite a few sewers. There's some cosplayers and quilters.
Yeah.
So I started streaming on Twitch about 10 years ago. And I first started doing it as a way for the people that were commissioning quilts from me to be able to see how I made their quilts. It quickly turned into a community where I log on and I stream for 3 hours while I'm making whatever I'm working on. And it's giving sneak previews to people, getting feedback. It's really cool and I love it. And hopefully when this airs, I'm still doing it because I just started it again last week, but I am also dual streaming to YouTube.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of the cool things that I do on Twitch are now on YouTube as well. And if you watch live on YouTube, there's no commercials.
While we're on the topic of community, we have to talk about Starlight Children's Foundation because you're doing so many good things for this charity. So, and they kind of mold together a bit, right? So, tell us about trying to raise 50K for 50Q. What does that mean?
So I am turning 50 this year, actually right before this airs on June 13.
Yeah.
So I am 50 now by the time you're listening to this. And I work with a lot of different charities, and Starlight is the main one that I work with because what they do is they go into hospitals and they create happiness. Which is what I try to do. Their motto is a happy child heals faster. Which is so true. So they do a couple of different things. They put video game systems into hospitals, but I mean, there's a couple of charities that do that. But what distinguishes them is they create these amazing gowns. If you've ever seen a child in a hospital that's got a really fun, cool gown on, maybe a Mario sports team, a princess, they work with Disney a lot. That's from Starlight. And they are made differently too. So they have ties on the sides, they have ports in the top so that you can, the snaps in the top. So a child's never, ever going to be undressed, ever, whenever a doctor comes in to examine them. And it's just fun. And they redesign children's wards. They do send projects home with kids when they leave the hospital. There's just all sorts of things that Starlight does. And it's my favorite charity.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so tell us about some of the types of things you're trying to do to raise 50K.
So the 50K for 50Q, the Q stands for Quiltoni. For my birthday. A bunch of the things that I'm doing. We just recently finished the stream that may never end. So it did end. Basically, I did it live on Twitch where people donated money, and I had to keep streaming for as long as people were donating money. And I was creating these Mario quilt blocks patterns. For quilts, blocks, all the things. And then when people donated, they got to basically get all of those patterns. So I am not making any money from that. Nintendo is aware of it, and it's all for charity. And Nintendo actually is another company that Starlight works with. And you can still get those on my website, and 100% of the money that you spend for those PDF downloads goes to Starlight. So that is at the online. I have 2 more online events. I can't tell you what they are that are coming up. One is with a major company in the sewing space. It's interactive. And you may be able to sign up for it. And hopefully we can announce it really, really soon. I'm hoping by the end of June, maybe beginning of July, we can announce this big thing. So keep an eye on my socials for that. I'm also doing events in stores. So there's a lot of stores that I'm coming to where we're doing charity events where I'm not charging them any money for me being there. And all the money of everything that we're doing is going to Starlight. So there's lots of different things that. Oh, and then, of course, at conventions. If you come and see me at a convention, I'm going to have special things available that if you make a donation to Starlight, you can grab anything you want for all of these things that are available.
Okay. And we have listeners of this podcast who are American and Canadian. So this organization, Starlight Children's Foundation, that you're making or, raising funds for is the American one.
Yes.
I know it does exist in Canada as well, but the one you're doing is American. But let's talk a little bit about where can we go to actually just click and make a donation right now?
So if you go to my website, quiltoni.com, right on that main page, there you can just click right on those words and it'll take you right to the Starlight page. And it has my story of, why I support Starlight. It has some of the things that Starlight does, and then you can make a donation right away on that page.
Yeah.
Or if you want some cool stuff that I actually have down below, I have a little button. You can go to my raising money. So if you want shirts, I have a Starlight dress. I have all of these things, or patterns. There's cool patterns that you can donate for.
Yeah.
And the money's all going to go to Starlight as well. So however way you do it. And I do want to point out that the Canada Starlight is also an amazing organization because of the way that charities have to file with the governments. That is the only reason why they're separated. Yeah. And the Canada chapter does not have an online presence. Mm-hmm. They only do their fundraising through their own events and through hospitals. So if you're in Canada and you want to make sure to support Starlight in Canada, contact your local children's hospital and ask if they're a Starlight partner. Yeah. And if they are, they can definitely help you with that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And when you just hear those words, happy kids heal faster, that just makes you want to go and click right now and make a donation because that's just such a heartwarming thing. Okay. So I also want to talk about some of the fun shenanigans that you've posted online. So I'm just going to slam you with a few fun things here that I have seen on your Instagram feed. I saw you greeting your bestie in a bikini at her shuttle. What was that all about?
Okay, so that was at TwitchCon.
TwitchCon.
So that is my good friend 9.5, and that is her online name, and she's called 9.5 because she's missing half of a finger.
Oh.
And she's a crocheter. And so she basically, she's also a streamer on Twitch, and she's also a Starlight ambassador. And she started raising money for Starlight, and someone in her community said, it would be funny if they put your face on a bikini. And she's like, okay, fine. So she put her face on this bikini all over the place. Said person in her community that suggested this to her then went and purchased it and sent it to me for some reason.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. I mean, she's a good friend of mine, but I don't want to wear a bikini with my friend's face on it. So then I was raising money for Starlight last year, and I was looking for reward incentives. Yeah. And someone said, well, if you raise $5,000 within the next few weeks, would you wear that bikini in public? I'm like, oh, I will go even further. I will not only wear that bikini in public, I will wear it super in public, outside in it, and greet 9.5 in the bikini. And next thing we know, we immediately hit the dollars amounts. And when I saw her a few months later, I then greeted her. And fun fact, the people that were taking the film was Starlight.
Oh, that is so awesome.
I called the Starlight people. I said, I'm doing this. Do you guys want to film it? And they're like, oh, of course we do.
That's awesome. Well, when you were standing there, you can watch it on Instagram. I encourage you to go check it out on the feed. But the most hilarious part of the whole thing, when you were standing there in this bikini with faces all over it, was your friend literally collapsed in laughter. She was laying on the ground and everyone was looking at her like, what is going on? And she's like, my face is on that bikini. It was so hilarious. So I encourage you to go check that out. If you grab a cup of tea and wrap yourself in a quilt, you will have some fun on that Instagram feed. And make sure you
Quiltoni quilts.
Yeah, Quiltoni.
So yes, Instagram is Quiltoni quilts.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, and we want to talk about the outfit you are wearing right now. So if you're listening and you can't see it, it's a racing suit. So how did all that get started?
So I am the current world record holder of fastest sewer in the world.
Oh.
There's a couple of caveats because we know how world records are. Yeah. It is the fastest sewer in a world in the world creating a quilt top on a domestic machine.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny. I was reached out to by Bernina, and they said, we have this brand new machine that is pretty cool. It's a semi-industrial machine. It's called the BO8.
Yeah.
And we don't quite know how to market this to stores. Could you help us figure this out? I'm like, yeah. They sent it to me. And of course, it's a semi-industrial. I can go through layers for cosplay and bag making. But they sent it to me, and I started piecing on it. And I went, you don't know what you have here, because it's 1,600 stitches a minute. And I said, I am not a bag maker. I am not a cosplayer, but I can show all of your stores how fast this is. Let's go for a world record.
Oh,
and they went, oh, okay. So I then commissioned a cosplayer to create this suit. It is a professional Formula One race suit. It actually is fireproof because it's a professional suit that a cosplayer altered in order to add pockets into it.
Oh,
and it has a US flag and a Swiss flag because that is where Bernina is. And it has a Canadian flag because that's where I am. And it has a picture of the machine on the back. And when I walked out in front of all the Bernina store owners wearing this suit, they all applauded and they lost it. And then I turned around and they saw the machine on the back, and then they really lost it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then that evening is when we made that world record attempt. And then I hit it and I made it. So it was a lot of fun. And so now I travel and I do these events where stores will pit their fastest sewer against me to see who can win. I also host a lot of races where you can do your own jelly roll race, both virtually and in person. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So fastest jelly roll quilt at 37 minutes. I saw on your Instagram feed that it was
actually
Is it
32
faster?
minutes.
32.
So
wow.
We broke the record with 37. And since then I have beat it again.
Oh, nice.
So now the world record is 32 minutes.
Wow. So that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
And so you can find that on the Instagram feed as well. So make sure you scroll down and look for that. And then another thing that I thought was really fun was you just did running miles to deliver smiles, a half marathon in March. And so tell us, the thing that I thought was really cool when I read about that on your Instagram feed was that you were getting people to send you messages at the different miles markers. So what kind of messages did you get?
Random things. So I got a couple encouragement messages, a few messages. I had someone Rickroll me.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, Brandy, you don't know Rickrolling?
I don't know.
This is a pop culture reference though. That's super in the nerd world. Okay. So you know Rick Astley.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Yeah.
So quite a few years ago, whenever people would be like, hey, follow this link. And it would go to the video of Rick Astley going, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Yeah.
And then is Rick rolling because it's not where you're actually thinking you're going, but you're going to Rick Astley. And yes.
Oh, that is so funny. I've been under a rock. I have never heard of that before.
Oh yeah, you got to Rickroll people now. Send them, never gonna give you up, and they'll go, oh, you got me.
I'm gonna send it to my husband right now. He'll be like, why are you doing all this?
I had someone actually put the entire song in as their message and they Rickrolled me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, fun. So how does it work with the running miles to deliver smiles to raise money for charity there?
So that is through Starlight.
Yeah.
Funny story. I hate running.
Yeah,
I hate running with a passion.
Aww.
I love running at Disney.
Oh, fun.
So Starlight became one of the celebrated charities of Disney at the Run Disney events in 2021.
Yeah.
And so they had a booth, they did all the things. And a friend of mine was there because she's been doing all the Run Disney things since 2017. And she goes up, oh, Starlight, do you guys know my friend Toni? And immediately, because I know everyone on staff, they go, oh, we love Toni. She's an ambassador. Ah. And then they both are sending me selfies. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Yay for you. And so my friend then messages me and says, if they get bibs, are you going to run for them? I'm like, no. Starlight then asks, hey, if we get bibs next year, will you run for us? We really need our ambassadors to run. And I said, no. I am not doing it. And my friend, I'm then doing a huge charity event for Starlight a month later. And that same friend comes in and says, how much will it take you to raise this charity event in order to get you to run for Starlight?
Oh.
And I went, well, crap. And the most I had raised for any charity and any event until that point was $10,000. So I'm like, $20,000.
Oh.
So I then had to start training and running.
Just in case.
Yeah, no, I hit it almost. We hit the 20K.
Oh no.
So I had to start training. And then the next year I ran, and it's the way Run Disney works is the half marathon weekends. You have a 5K Friday, 10K Saturday, and half marathon Sunday.
Wow.
I did them all.
Oh, geez.
And as I'm crossing the line for the half marathon, my friend is there waiting for me, and she looks at me and she says, how was it? And I went, I am so angry. Oh my gosh, what happened? I'm like, you really do not truly believe and understand how angry I am in this moment. She goes, whoa, oh my gosh. It's like panicking, thinking something horrible happened. She's what? I'm like, I had fun.
Oh,
like, why? Why is this fun? And I just signed up for my first marathon weekend.
Oh.
So I am going to be doing every single Run Disney race in the 26-27 calendar year for Starlight. And I am doing Dopey, which is a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon all in one weekend.
Oh my gosh. For
my first marathon.
Wow. Oh, good for you. That is a pretty big achievement.
Yeah. It's going to be funny. It's going to be, we'll see. We'll see how this turns out.
Oh, good. Well, that sounds like a whole lot of fun. Another thing I saw on your feed that looked just so much fun was before the holidays, you were in a gingerbread showdown. So tell me about that.
That was also for Starlight. I swear they get me into all sorts of trouble. So it's for the kids, right? Like people know if it's for the kids, I will do almost anything.
Yeah.
They had a gingerbread contest where they in previous years they had done this, and they sent a gingerbread kit of basically these walls and everything already built, and you decorate it and you put it together. And so they asked if I could be a part of it this year. I'm like, you know what? I haven't done it before. Yes, I will. And this package arrives. It's flour. It is ingredients and instructions on I hate cooking and I hate baking.
Oh, no.
I was, are you kidding me?
Maybe they're just having meetings that say, what does she hate the most? Let's make her do that. Running and cooking.
Oh, no. And the best part about this, if you scroll even farther down, Starlight presented me the box in person just so I could open it in front of one of the execs in order to be like, and I'm like, what? What am I?
She's going to have to do it now.
But I already had committed to this thing. So I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to make this worth it. So I made this huge sewing machine, and I created a gingerbread sewing machine. I didn't win. The one that won was this huge castle creation. It was really cool. Yeah. He was a baker. It's fine. Mine did not stand up on its own. I may have been propping it up with some cardboard, and it was falling apart, and I put in a valiant effort. And
that is definitely something you can find on the feed. Scroll down. Was there 6 or 8 people involved? You see them all on there. It looked like a lot of fun. Okay. One more thing I want to touch on before we leave sort of the fun that's happening in the Instagram feed and everywhere online is your cosplay garments. So were there some highlights there? Tell us about a couple of the garments that you've been wearing on your Instagram feed for cosplay.
So I am not a cosplayer. I have to preface that.
Yeah.
I do not understand how to sew clothing. I'm starting to. I've been chatting with people like Casey Renee Cosplay and M Jasmine Design, who are amazing cosplayers, and they blow my mind. And I do lots of events with them. Yeah. So I think they're starting to rub off on me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to just try to channel them in order to do some things. And I tackled my first actual cosplay that I sewed, but I didn't do it from scratch because that's not where they suggest cosplayers start. Mm-hmm. And that's not where a lot of people start. what I did is I bought these pieces online that would kind of fit what my vision was, and I altered them.
Mm.
So I found a really cool pink corset, and I found this dress that was really cool and big and pink, and I chopped it up and I turned it into a skirt. I added in some extra things onto the skirt, and then for the corset top, I actually added in a bunch of bling. Casey actually explained to me and helped me with how to bling something out, and I did a bunch of design work, and I topped it all off with a fancy crown, and I cosplayed for the opening of the second half of Wicked.
Oh, fun.
And I went with my daughter, and it was amazing. And yeah, we had a really good time, and now I'm trying to sew even more.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more adventures like that. Nothing from scratch yet. If you are interested in cosplay, if you're interested, please go check out Casey Renee Cosplay, because she does have a lot of great beginner tutorials on her YouTube and Instagram. And she holds my hand a lot with the stuff that I do. So she's going to eventually get me to make something from scratch.
Yeah.
So we're going to get there. But you don't have to, is my point. You don't have to make something from scratch in order to do something that you love.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know what cosplay is, it's a mixture of costume and play.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dressing up for fun, you're cosplaying. So when I'm wearing my racing suit, I'm cosplaying.
Yeah.
Whatever brings you joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, speaking of all these wonderful conventions and sewing, quilting, cosplay, all the different types of things you're doing, are there any travel highlights that you want to mention that have been your favorite?
There are so many events and conventions I do, and I love every single one of them. I adore Gen Con. I mentioned it earlier, the industry trade show for tabletop gaming. And the reason why I adore that one is you can be a super introvert and go to this convention of 85,000 people and not have it affect you.
Yeah.
They have areas all throughout the convention that are dark rooms, that are quiet rooms if you need to get away. And they have embraced crafting more than any other convention I do. Gen Con was started by Gary Gygax in the 70s. Brandy, do you know who Gary Gygax is?
I don't.
He is the creator of Dungeons and Dragons.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
So he created this convention as a way for the people that played his games in order to get together. Because as we know, if you're a nerd and you tabletop, there may not be people around you that do the same thing.
Yeah.
So he created this convention in the 70s. And by the early 80s, he was like, hey, all of these guys, notice I said guys, are bringing their wives or mothers, and we really need something for them to do. Yeah. Because remember, in the 80s, girls can't game. But it's actually a good thing because they created what they called the spousal activities. So since the early 80s, they've had classes for crochet, for cross stitch, for hand sewing, for all these things. And that's turned into this whole big array of classes. You can learn how to swing dance. You can learn how to make wine. There are over 25,000 events at Gen Con that if you are a nerd of any kind, you can find something. And I teach hand sewing, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And because I'm a quilt nerd and because a lot of the listeners are quilters of this podcast, I wanted to do a little comparison. So 85,000 people at Gen Con compared to QuiltCon that just broke their 2024 record by having 29,000 people at QuiltCon this year in 2026. So you could just see that, Gen Con is has 3 times the size. So that's kind of cool. It's a really big event.
And the other one that I do, Dragon Con, another huge event that I do. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. That one is a sci-fi fantasy convention. If you're an introvert, do not go there. Okay. It is a super party. It's fantasy sci-fi. You may get overwhelmed because they have 100,000 people.
Wow.
And it's a lot. It spans almost the entire area of downtown Atlanta. They go across 5 hotels and America's Mart, all 5 levels.
Yeah. Well, fun. Well, I love all these conventions, and I think it's kind of cool that there's niches out there where you can find your specific passion and go there. Like so many people in my regular world, they're like, did you say quilt con? And I was like, yes, I did. There are cons. There are all kinds of different cons, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your book. You created a book called Designing Pixel Quilts. So how did that come about?
So it was a dream ever since I was a little girl that I wanted to be an author.
Mm.
And I actually went to university as an English major because I wanted to be an author. And of course, I had a minor in education, which is how I became a teacher. And I learned quite quickly in university, I can't write. I am a very pragmatic, logical person. I don't have much of an imagination, which is why I have a business partner to help me with a lot of my designs. But I'm a very straightforward, logical thinking person. So that doesn't bode well for fiction. So whenever I started doing all of this, I get a lot of requests for different designs. And the number one request that I got, hey, can you make a pattern for Minecraft? No, I cannot make any patterns for Minecraft because it's already in its base pixelated format. There's no way that I could take that and make something inspired by that without it breaking any kind of copyright laws. So I thought about it and went, well, what if I wrote a book on how you could do it yourself? And that's what the Designing Pixel Quilts book is. It talks about when you're designing something from scratch, things you need to keep in mind for quilts. You try to do lots of outlines, try to do lots of different color changes without having the colors blend in, unless that's what you want. Yeah. I also realized that not a lot of people like math like I do. So all of the formulas for how to create all of these quilts are all in the book. So you just have to plug in your numbers and boom, there's your formulas. I talk about resizing pixel quilts, changing them. And then there's a couple of different things in there that are little Easter eggs that a lot of my fans recognize. And they go, oh, I know what that's from.
Oh, fun. So that's available on your website as a PDF. And how did it feel to have the hard copy in your hands for the first time, though, when you created it?
It is awesome. You can get the hard copy in stores, in your local stores, as well as on Amazon. And like I said, I only do the PDF on my website. But again, if you buy it in a store and you want the PDF, send me an email and I'll send it to you. But the very first time I had this in my hands, I started crying because I'm like, when I was in university, I didn't think I could ever be an author. I'm an author now. And it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, well, good things come when pixel quilting grabs you by the pants, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your teaching and speaking. So you mostly teach in stores and conventions, and we've talked about some of the really cool conventions you've been to, like Gen Con. By the time this episode airs, you'll be all done this event I'm about to talk about right now, but tell us what you're about to teach at Fiber and Fabric Craft Festival in Chicago.
I am super excited for that one. I know you're going to be there. Are you teaching too?
I'm not teaching. No, I'm going to be in the Oliso. I'm going to be doing the podcast in the Oliso booth.
Nice. Yeah. It is. I'm very excited. So the Fiber and Fabric Craft Festival is the brainchild of H&H Americas. Yeah. And H&H Americas is the industry trade show for crafting that's in North America. And a lot of people were saying, well, we love this. This is amazing. We want this to be for the public. And that's what the Fiber and Fabric Craft Festival is. It is a public craft show where it's not like a fair where you go in and some random things are on tables and you may like some things, you may not. These are actual companies that have the kits. These are creators. These are pattern designers. These are the people that you're listening to in podcasts. These are like Miss Brandy, who's going to be in the Aliso booth. These are those people that you're like, oh, I love their social medias. And they're wandering through and doing events and teaching. And I'm teaching a few classes. And so immediately I said, this is the first year of it. So sign up for next year. I cannot, because I know it's going to be amazing. And I cannot wait to teach. And I'm going to have a booth there as well, selling my patterns and kits and some nerdy fabric as well.
That's so cool. Well, I love this show because it's the first time that they're doing it, of course. H&H has happened many years in a row already, but this is the first consumer-facing show for the people, right? I love that. And it's a multi-craft show. And also, I love that everything you're teaching is like so on brand. It's like make a dice bag with a sewing machine, make a Bargello quilt and scrunchies, right? So you're teaching things at entry level where people can try things for the first time. So I really love that part of it. So like, I just love that you really cater to the beginner and you bring so much joy, right? So it's really inviting.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about your speaking. This is in person only, right? Like you don't do Zoom lectures. You like to speak in person at conventions and things like that. So what do you usually like to talk about?
I do all sorts of different things. So the reason why I don't do anything on Zoom is because I am on the road about 60% of my time doing events. And so when I'm home, I like to be home, and I'm already streaming on Twitch and YouTube while I'm home. So I don't want to add things to that. I want to spend some time with my husband.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Because I'm on the road. But I do lectures, no matter whether it's at a guild or whether it's at a store or even at conventions, I'll do lectures. I do things sometimes based around pixelation of stuff. So I have a lecture on, of course, a trunk show, talking about my journey and talking about, how I got started, where I've gone, where the future of where I'm going. I have one that basically talks about the design of pixel quilting. I also do a lecture on why you should care about these streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube Live, how they're different from Facebook and Instagram, and why you should care about them and what you can do with them and why you should watch them, because it's actually a really cool format with a lot of the interactive and chatting with people. It's really, really cool. And then, of course, Bargellos. Did you know that a Bargello quilt is actually a pixel quilt?
No, but I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it is. If you think about watercolor quilts, also pixel quilts, they're just different formats of them. So I talk about the basics of those types of quilts, why they're pixel quilts, and how you can actually create different kinds of Bargellos that's going to fit you.
Yeah, so fun. I love that. Okay. And another thing that I would want to mention about the live streaming is that, I think in the world nowadays, there's all this talk about AI and everything. When you're on a live stream, actually talking to the person in the chat and they're answering you in real time, you're not talking to some AI bot, right? Yep. So that's the real connection. That's the kind of stuff that's going to be meaningful and last. So I think some of these live streams are going to be awesome in the future. Okay. So is there a quilt or quilt project that's been most memorable for you?
Yes. So obviously my Van Gogh Starry Night was the most intensive pattern and project I have ever done. I was so proud of that when it was finished. It's the first time we've ever tried to tackle an advanced quilt. And the reason for that is a lot of the stores that I teach at, they're like, you know what, all of these basic patterns are great. We love them. But a lot of the people that are coming into the store already know how to quilt. They may not want to make these. Can you make something more complicated for them? And that's when we started creating the Pixelated masterpiece line. We just came out with the Great Wave, which super excited about. So Van Gogh Starry Night, not only is it the most complex one I've ever created, but the directions on that. So the instructions on the basic pattern are about 8 pages. The Starry Night is 20.
Wow.
And in addition to that, I have free online downloadable resources to help keep all of the little tiny pieces organized and straight. And that is another 20 pages.
Wow.
So it's the most intense one I have ever done. But I think we did it the correct way, and it's laid the foundation for this line of patterns that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, definitely something to be proud of. Okay. And in your creative practice, what brings you joy?
Making people smile. So whenever I was in business school, a lot of, we talk about motivations. And the reason why they talk about it in business school is motivating your employees.
Mhm.
And what really struck home with me is the different things that motivate us as a human being.
Yeah.
Does your family motivate you? Does money motivate you? Does travel and seeing the world, does your hobbies motivate you? And what I learned about myself in that moment was seeing an impact on the world around me is what motivates me.
Yeah.
And so what brings me joy is when I see that impact. Whenever Starlight can send me to a hospital that has one of my gaming stations in it, just seeing those kids, like I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Teaching a class. I just taught a class at a store down in Florida where it was a medium level class, but I have taught at the store a couple of times already. So the store knows if they send me someone brand new that's never sewn before, I've got it. So they did that. And I didn't realize that until we had already started into the class. And and I said, okay, so you need to cut these strips and doing this and this. And she looks at it and she goes and pulls out her scissors. And I'm like, oh, do you not know how to use a rotary cutter? I can show you. And she goes, I've never seen one before. I'm like, let me show you. And as I'm teaching her how to use the rotary cutter, and I pulled out the stripology ruler, and she's like, oh, you can do that? And just the joy on her face just brought me just so much love and joy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I love that. And it really kind of comes back to just the result, right? Like what I'm hearing you say is the result, that joy. And going back to that saying about the kids, happy kids heal faster. Like, I just love all of that.
Yeah.
So I could see how you're bringing joy and you're getting joy out of it at the same time. Okay, so right now we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk all about Toni's studio space, where she creates, where she does all her magic online with Twitch, some of the quilts in her world. We're going to talk about a few more of those and what's coming soon. We'll be right back. Quilters and quilt shop owners, can we talk for a second? We hear you're looking for more Canadian products for your shops. You want to support Canadian, but don't know where to start. Enter Erie Quilt Art, a Canadian distributor of quality quilting notions and patterns that makes it easy to find Canadian products. With an easy-to-navigate website and a dedicated section for Canadian, shopping Canadian has never been easier. Carrying notions such as the Acorn Precision Piecing System and the Creative Mediums by Wonderfill, and patterns by the Blanket Statement, Modern Blended Quilts, Tamara Kate Designs, Art East Quilting Co., and more, you're sure to find plenty of Canadian inspiration. Head over to www.eriequiltart.com to get started. Shop owners can place orders directly from Erie Quilt Art, and quilters can ask your local quilt shops to bring in the products you wish to purchase. And we are back with Toni Smith, also known as Quiltoni. So Toni, tell us about your studio space.
So my studio space is my pride and joy. I love creating here. I have an amazing sewing table with a drop down that I never use because I have so much stuff on it. I probably mirror a lot of the listeners' rooms in that a creative mind is never tidy.
Yeah, me too.
It is like literally things everywhere. And it's funny, I have to go through and do spring cleaning once every few months in order to make sure that put things away, let's find things. But you know what? But I know where everything is. Yeah. There's stacks and things, but it's great because I know where it all is. And I sew actually, because I sew on the BO8 for all of my piecing, it is so heavy and sturdy. It is on a little tray table. next to my sewing desk. Yeah. So my sewing desk doesn't actually have sewing stuff on it, but all of my monitors and everything else and my sewing desk. Oh, and I have 7 monitors, by the way, on my 2 computers. Yes.
For all the streaming and everything.
Well, not only that, you may not have realized this about me, Brandy. I know we're friends, but you may not know that I have ADHD. And I say that because no, she definitely knows. So I am so scattered where I need that many different monitors because I am working on that many things and I can't forget to finish those things.
Yeah.
So by keeping it up on my monitor, I know to finish it. And then at the end of the day, before I turn off my computer, I better have all that stuff done on each monitor or else I'm not turning the computer off yet.
Oh, a good way to get things done, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, I've got a cutting table. I have, you know, all of my studio lighting. I actually installed daylights in my recessed lighting because my studio is in my basement of my house.
Okay.
So I have daylights everywhere. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 bookcases of fabric.
Wow.
So surrounded by the fabric. So this way, whenever, and it's funny, if you watch any of my live streams and I'm pulling fabrics for something new, I'll go, okay, let's look at this. And I'll disappear and I'll run around and I'll start pulling all these fabrics. Okay, what about this with this? What about this with this?
Yeah.
And then whoever is watching helps me pick the right fabrics that go together for this thing that I create.
Yeah. And you have cameras everywhere as well, right?
I do. I have 6 different cameras.
Wow.
The computer, my main computer I actually built myself in 2020,
Wow.
which that was fun, building a computer during the shutdown.
Oh my gosh.
When you couldn't get parts. But I have a video, whatever the thing is called, you stick in your computer and it has all the ports for all the video things.
Okay.
And this is the ADHD. My brain can't find the right word.
Oh, it's like a drive of some kind?
Yes, that's it. A video drive. Thank you. It is a video drive and it actually has 4 ports on it for 4 DSLR cameras.
Oh, wow.
So that is, and if anyone listening, if you try to plug in 2 cameras of the same make into your computer, you may have a problem. You may not be able to see both of them. If you've had that problem before, it's because it is a Logitech and Logitech doesn't like Logitech.
Oh,
so keep it on a different port. And that's one of the things that I educate whenever I go out sometimes with stores. I do lots of educating with live streaming and things like that. So
yeah, I love that. Because when you're live streaming, then you can show your dogs, you can show what you're working on, you can show where you're going. Like, it's nice to have all those cameras. I thought I was pretty fancy with sometimes up to 3 cameras when I'm teaching. But 6, that's something to aspire to.
And speaking of the dog camera, my mods at any time can change any of my cameras while I'm live streaming to the dog cam.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I actually have it set up in a way that my mods can change my cameras for me because let's be honest, I forget.
Yeah.
I forget, and you'll be watching my butt as I'm leaning over and doing the cutting table. So they'll go, and they'll change the camera to the mat cam. But randomly, they'll change it to the dog cam because they want to see dogs. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's cute. Well, it's so cute when you're looking after dogs all the time and you have 3 of your own as well, right?
Yep.
That's fun. Okay, so what is your favorite time of day?
Morning.
Morning for sure.
Yeah, I'm a morning person. It is, I like to get up, do my routine, and then I'm down and on the computer most of the time by 7:45 in the morning. And I get most of my productivity done first thing.
Oh, that's great. What's the best thing you do for your own self-care?
That's so hard for self-care because it's such an important thing. Yeah. So the biggest thing is I play video games. I've got to stop, pet the animals. So part of my routine in the morning when I get up, I go and I sit on the couch with my tea and my iPad, and immediately a dog gets into my lap and I start petting them and cover them and just play games. And it helps wake me up. And then I do that right before bed. I'll sit on the couch and just do the same exact thing. And it calms me down right before bed.
It's really comforting. Yeah, love it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the other patterns. So we've already touched on Starry Night, which was one of the most difficult ones and meaningful ones you've ever done. But let's get into the Great Wave. Tell us about that one.
So the Great Wave is another painting. It's an awesome painting. It's from a Japanese artist. I can't pronounce his name. It is my business partner can pronounce his name very, very easily. But it's a wonderful painting. And the reason why we chose it for this year's release is because it's used a lot in pop culture, like animes, and in the nerd world. I was super surprised to find out recently that there is a huge surgence of great wave out there in the world all of a sudden. And the reason is that painting is going on tour. I had no clue. So now they have Great Wave diamond dot kits. There's lots of Great Wave, cross stitches that are coming out. There's all sorts of Great Wave stuff that's happening, and it's just in time for our quilt pattern, which makes me very happy.
Oh, that's great.
The fabric I chose is all Benertex. I picked one of the fabrics is a linen. It's not cotton, and it's a linen because it has silver tinsel that runs through it.
Yeah.
It's what I use for white. So in the paint, in the quilt itself, it looks like the sun is hitting the waves as it's cresting, and you can see the glinting of the waves. I love working with different fabrics. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, tell us about a few more.
So the very first pattern that I ever did, which is still one of my favorites, is the British police box.
Oh, okay.
And for those of you, if you're like, wait, a British police box? Yeah, Doctor Who. It's a TARDIS.
Okay.
It's basically it, but it is all I did was I just made a British police box. It's just very basic, very simple. It's one of the easiest patterns I have ever done. It was the first, and it's still one of my favorites, and I love it.
Okay, and do you have a couple more there you want to chat about?
I do. The mermaid. My mermaid was actually in Fons and Porter Quick and Easy Quilts in 2020. So I didn't get to tour and do anything that I had, promoting it, the things I had planned. But it's super, super cool. It is it's one of my favorite patterns. You can change it different ways. Of course, you can change the skin tone. It's the first pattern that I really thought about how I look at skin tone in my characters. So it's the first pattern that whenever we started it, it doesn't have a color for the skin tone. It says skin tone. And whenever it was going to be, when it was picked for the Fons and Porter Quick and Easy Quilts episode, the issue, I insisted on them including the alternate version that has a darker skin. Because you need to have inclusivity with whatever you do. So I'm currently in the process of going back and redoing all of my older patterns in order to change that wording from the color to skin tone so that you can really use whatever skin tone you want in any of the things.
And I love that you realized something, you went back and you're going to change it from the past. You've learned a lesson. We all need to grow that way, right? I love that part of your story.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about a couple more if you have any more.
Yeah, I've got a couple more. So the T-Rex. I mean, who doesn't love dinosaurs?
Yeah, so cute.
This is actually inspired by Dragon Con. Talk about inspiration from the world around you. Yeah. So Dragon Con, the Wednesday before the convention, it has somehow grown into a T-Rex dance party. Where people put on inflatable T-Rex suits and they have a big dance party in the Hilton lobby, and it's amazing. And one of the reasons why I now have my pink T-Rex inflatable suit, and you may see me running around and causing chaos at stores or conventions. So again, for the T-Rex, I was like, okay, well, it's different colors. So I actually have in here green, but you can put any skin tone you want for your T-Rex.
Yeah.
Just bring it out. If it's purple, it looks like Barney. If it's green, it looks like Rugrats. If it's any other color, it's you. It's whatever. Who doesn't love dinosaurs?
Yeah, I know. I love those videos you see online about people wearing the T-Rex suits and meeting people at the airport and stuff like that. I remember the very first one that I saw was grandparents both wearing T-Rex suits because you have to wear masks at that time when the pandemic was happening and people could just travel, I think. So they wanted to stay safe, but they wanted to greet their grandkids and they were allowed to go. Anyway, it was really fun.
That's amazing. I love that.
Okay, tell us another one.
All right, so the last one I've got is my Cthulhu.
Oh.
Are you a horror fan, Brandy?
I'm not, but tell me about the character.
So Cthulhu is the destroyer of the world. He was created by H.P. Lovecraft, one of the first horror writers. And it is basically this horror novel. I'm not into horror, but there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah.
And this was one of the ones that people asked on a repetitive basis, I need horror, I need horror, I need horror.
Cool.
So then I thought about, well, what you've got, of course, a lot of the things out in the world, Mothman, Frankenstein, I could grab one of those, or I could grab the original that not a lot of people have done. And Cthulhu is actually used in a lot of tabletop gaming as a centerpiece for lots of different things. Because the whole point is you worship him, he arises, and then he eats you.
Oh.
And then he destroys the world.
That's horror for you.
Right? So that's horror. So so we created Cthulhu for that. And he was my first foray into the horror genre.
Oh, that's fun. I'm not a horror fan, but because I'm a scaredy pants.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was young, and I've never watched a horror movie after that. I'm like, I can't. Like, it gives me nightmares. No.
The one for me was Poltergeist. Oh my gosh. I just
haven't seen it.
I never looked at worms the same after. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Okay. So you mentioned to me earlier that you had some quilts in your world that are not a part of your business, but that were just from you, like two friends made them for you or something like that. So tell me that story.
So I have never made a quilt for me. I don't know if I haven't had inspiration, time. I mean, let's be honest, time.
Yeah.
Or anything that I'm like, I really want this thing. And so I actually had a friend years and years ago make a poker quilt for me because I love playing poker. And so that's one of my quilts that I sleep with. And I was doing a charity event for St. Jude a few years ago where we were doing almost a craft swap thing where people were donating their supplies or finished craft things that they created. And then people would donate to the charity, and then you could possibly win these things. One of the things that was donated was this gorgeous log cabin quilt with glitter fabric. I mean, I love glitter. Yeah. I love blinging. And it was just this cool, like hot Christmas glitter that it was gorgeous. And it's probably one of the best log cabins that I have personally ever seen. And all I did was talk about this, and I loved it. And the person that won the quilt mailed it to me.
Aww.
And I now sleep with that quilt every single night because I love it.
Aww.
And I think if I were to ever make a quilt for me, I have something picked out. I have figured out how to pattern the Epcot ball from Disney.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
The cool geometrical thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would be able to sell a pattern like that because it is based upon a Disney intellectual property. Yeah. So probably not. But I've got it all figured out. So if I ever have time, I eventually may, because then it reminds me of so much of what I do for Starlight and running. And
that would be a nice little personal pet project. I love it.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about your next art project pattern because you're moving into the next masterpiece now. So how does that process work and how can people get involved?
So we try to think about whenever we do our designs in the past, the easy ones, we'd be like, okay, what do you love? Tell me what I should create. What do you do? Yeah. For the masterpiece line, we're doing something a little different. We're starting with a base idea of a painting, and then we're seeing, can this work in a pixelated format? The Starry Night was a no-brainer. Starry Night is one of the most popular, paintings that are out there, and people have pixelated it, all over the place. Yeah. We did our own different kind of pixelation, though. The Great Wave was just a nice segue because Starry Night is really big in Doctor Who fans, Star Trek, Star Wars fans. There's lots of crossover with that painting into that world. Did you know that there was a Van Gogh episode of Star Trek?
No.
One time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so cool. So then the Great Wave, then we're taking the anime fans with doing all that. So now for the next one, we're starting to think about, okay, well, what can we do? So we need ideas. We were thinking about classic like Mona Lisa. But what I need help with is I want to know what painting you want to see. So I am creating a social media post just after this airs. Please tell me if you wanted to create a double-sized quilt of a famous painting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it has to be over 100 years old because we have to make sure it's in the public domain and I don't break any trademark or copyright infringement laws.
Right.
So it has to be 100 years old. What painting would you want to see?
Yeah.
My business partner would say no impressionism, please, but she can live with it if that's what we... I'll tell her, you can get over this. It's fine.
That's what everybody wants. Yeah.
Yes. Apparently Starry Night made her cross-eyed many, many, many times. But so what do you, if you wanted to create a double-sized quilt for you or for your bed, of course, queen or king, if you add extra borders, what do you want?
Okay, that's awesome. So if people want to get involved in that, they can go to your Instagram. They can follow you so they get the notification when it comes out. You will put it up there and people can say, this is my favorite 100-year or more old painting, and they can get involved in the decision, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to go back for a moment just to the whole beautiful story about how you are raising funds for charity, because I want to ask you the question, what's the story behind all this effort? What's your personal story that led you to feel the need to do all of this?
So I was born with a rare genetic condition. If you've met me in person, sometimes people will offer me food or offer me something else. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. And I don't go into it a lot.
Yeah.
I do go into it a lot with my live streaming because if for some reason it comes up a lot.
Yeah.
I was born with disaccharide intolerance. And disaccharide intolerance is something you can be born with, and then you can develop it later on in life. And what that means is your body does not have the ability to break down complex sugars.
Oh.
I am missing the enzyme in order to do that. So if I were to consume table sugar, which is sucrose, which is one of those complex sugars, it's just going to pass right through my body. Nothing's going to happen. It's just going to go right through. I'm not going to get any nutrients from that. I'm not going to get any benefit. It may agitate my stomach a bit and cause some problems, but it's not giving me anything at all.
Yeah.
My body can't absorb it. I can't get it. So when I was born, that was non-existent. It didn't happen. And this is in 1976.
Yeah.
So they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me because I wasn't growing. I was staying the size of a newborn. I wasn't getting many nutrients. I was sick all the time. I was in and out of the hospital. When I was about a year old, the doctors were like, hey, we think we figured it out. She has this thing called lactose intolerance.
Uh-oh.
And so they gave me soy milk. Well, that took one of the sugars out, lactose, but soy milk has sucrose in it, table sugar. Yeah. So I was starting to grow. I was starting to getting some nutrients, but I wasn't getting all the nutrients I needed. So I was still sickly, in and out, all this other stuff. And when my parents were living in Virginia at the time, and my dad took a job in Ohio. And so they moved to Ohio. This is 1978 now, so I'm almost 2 years old. Yeah. And there's no long distance. Long distance costs you an arm and a leg. Yeah. There's no cell phones. There's no calling ahead and preparing a doctor for where you're going. So the doctor in Virginia put this whole list of doctors that my mom could call once she got to Ohio. Mm-hmm. So she gets to Ohio. The movers are late. They get there at 11:30 a.m. on a Saturday. She unpacks the phone, puts the phone in, plugs it in, and starts calling all the numbers. No one answers. Oh. It's now 12 o'clock. She picks up the phone, opens the phone book, puts her finger down in the phone book, and calls the pediatrician. He answers it himself. Mm. And my mom explains what's going on. He says, I understand you're upset. It's okay. Here's my home phone number. If something happens to her before Monday, call my home and we'll figure something out or get her to the hospital. And I want you to come in Monday morning at 9 a.m. because I think I know what's wrong with her. Oh. So we go in Monday morning, 9 a.m. and my mom gets there. The receptionist is like, well, I don't know. And the doctor hears, oh no, that's Miss Smith. Tell her to come on back. So it goes on back and he sits down with her and says, look, I think she has with this brand new thing called disaccharide intolerance. because he had just finished his rotation at Children's in Columbus, where they discovered this in a young boy.
Wow.
So because of that, because they moved, because my mom randomly picked this pediatrician, they figured out what was wrong with me. And then the hospital visits were now few and far between, and I could grow. And because of that, I've got lots of problems with me and my body.
Yeah.
So I went through, like, I still had to go to the hospital a lot growing up. And in the 70s and 80s, I mean, the hospital was a horrible place. It was a sad, drab, I hated going. I hated everything about it. And so when I heard about what Starlight is doing and creating happy places, all I could think about when I was in the hospital, when I was young, going through all that, was if I had this, I would have loved to go to the hospital. Yeah. I would have loved to enjoy it. And I wonder how much better my life would have been and how much better healing I could have had. And maybe I wouldn't have as many problems today if I would have had them then. So that's why I support them in their journey.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing the story behind the story. And if you're listening right now, of course, just to remind you, you can go to Toni's website, quiltoni.com with 1 T, and you can just click and you can donate today. And then a child will have a fun little outfit on, or they will be happier and heal faster, right? So such a great cause. Okay, so now we're going to have some fun with the lightning round robin. It's a series of rapid fire questions and it's super fun. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite tool or notion?
Oh, that's easy. That's my Femore rotary cutter.
Okay, Femore.
It is because it has the ball bearing, so you can use it like a pizza cutter.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Femore. I love Brent. He's a cool dude. Okay, he's always fun. What triggers inspiration for you?
The different and weird.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I just saw barbecue yesterday, and I'm thinking about the different grays and browns that I could use to pop color because of the barbecue.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What's a barbecue?
A barbecue is when a car catches on fire in the road. So, like, as the car's driving and it catches on fire, and then the fire trucks have to come and put it out, and you have a fire on the side of the road. Yeah, it's a barbecue.
I guess I should know what that is if I'm a firefighter, but I've never heard that term before. Okay. Do you have any kind of annual creative escape?
I wish. So I try to find moments. So this past H&H and F&F, we have a 1-day break between the two shows. Yeah. So I have convinced Brandy and a couple of other people to join me at downtown Chicago to go to the art museums.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited about that. That's going to be really fun.
So that's what I do. I try to find moments within my travels and what I do to really try to find creative inspiration.
Oh, that's a really good answer. Like, it doesn't have to be a once a year creative escape. It can be just finding those moments every week to do something special. I love it. Okay. Let's see. What motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
Oh, the dogs.
Me too.
And the cats. The cats. It is the cat will jump on me at 6 a.m. and stand on my chest and scream at me so that I go and feed them.
Oh, me too.
Yes.
I just get a nose on my face. Yeah. A silent nose on my face. Like, are you ever getting up?
Like, and you have no choice. It's like, okay, I'm getting up. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. I know you're hungry. Okay. What skill you'd love to learn?
Cosplay. I think learning how to create my own clothing. I think, especially because I have a weird body shape. I'm very small, I'm short, and I'm thin, even though I come from a very large family because of the things I've gone through. I want to make my own clothing.
Yeah, me too. I've got the bug now that I've made one dress out of a dress I already own. Now it's kind of like, what else in my closet can I try to replicate? I love it.
Right? Yes.
Okay. Have you had any weird, crazy, or funny fan moments?
Yes and no. So I exist in the convention world, into the nerd world. Yeah. We are all a little bit kooky. We all probably are neurodivergent. We're a bit neurospicy. For those of you listeners, if you don't know what neurospicy is, that you have the normies, the neuro normal, and then neurospicy is the ADHD, autistic, basically anything that is abnormal that goes on in your brain. Yeah. And obviously I'm ADHD. And so that creates a lot of amazing encounters. Like, I don't have any weird things that happen because I cherish every single one of them.
Yeah.
Although I have rules for hugging me.
Okay.
I love hugs and I will hug people, but I have 3 rules. Number 1, don't surprise me with a hug. I have had people come running up and just like hug me out of nowhere. Let me be aware. Don't surprise me and give me a heart attack. So make sure you make eye contact first and go in for the hug, and then we'll do that.
Yeah.
The second one, don't make it creepy. Please don't make it creepy.
Don't linger too long.
No, don't put your hand someplace. Don't linger. Just don't be a creeper. Please don't be creepy.
Don't start sniffing my neck or anything.
Yes, or the hair. Oh, I had someone smell my hair one time. I'm like, dude, that broke the rule. No more hugs for you. So then the third rule is please take a bath. So it's you would think this would be understood. However, in the convention space, these are people that want to make it to the convention. They have spent all of their money getting to this convention, and they may not have a hotel.
Yeah.
So they are sleeping creative places.
Yeah.
If you are that kind of person, don't hug me.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can fist bump. We can elbow bump. It is if I'm going in for a hug and I smell you, I want you to actually be nice smelling.
Those are some very good rules for hugging. I love it. Okay. Do you have any favorite collections of any kind in your home?
Yes. I was never really a collector before until I started doing Disney. And I have been bitten by the Run Disney bug. And I have a collection of Loungefly bags. Oh. And for those of you that don't know what Loungefly is, those are the cute little tiny backpacks they are purses basically, but they're like fun, like pop culture things. Yeah. And Disney ears to match. So when I go to Disney now, I have an outfit and a bag and a pair of ears for maybe 2 a day, 3 a day, and I switch them out, and it's yeah.
Aw, that's sweet. Okay, what is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest personal accomplishment is my master's of business degree. It is that was so hard. And I did it online from the University of Illinois Carbondale campus. And the reason why I chose them is the exact same program they offer on campus is what they do online. And it's the same in same professors. So it's the same as if I were to do it in person, which makes it even harder. Yeah. So it was a really amazing thing when I did that for the personal accomplishment. The professional accomplishment, I'm the world record holder of fastest sewer because I made my pattern line, and I created my quilts because if I can't do it in a day, it wouldn't get done at all. So I created this way, and I needed to go faster and faster and faster. Yeah. And so the fact that I was able to break a world record for that, Yeah,
of course, and raise money for charity along the way as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, well, those are definitely some milestones to be proud of. Now, we know the answer to this question, but we want to hear more about them. Do you have any furry friends in your studio?
Yes. So right now we have Mr. Paco Taco. Paco Taco is a Chihuahua. We think he's got some wiener dog in him. Some Dotson in him because he's long and So Paco Taco is super annoying, and I love him. And he only comes down on stream every now and then because he likes to pee on things. So he's not allowed in my sewing studio. I have a walled off area that they're allowed to be in whenever I'm streaming. That is safe. That's not near my stuff. And then we also have Mr. Alfred. Alfred's our Chion. He is our oldest baby, and we've had him the longest. He's just adorable, and he's a suck, and we love him. And then we have Whiskey. We just got Whiskey in December, and he is my little tiny Chihuahua that is loving and adoring, and my pocket dog. Aww. So I have to basically keep him with me, or else he barks.
Aww. Fun. Sounds like you have a house full of fun there.
Yeah, and then 3 cats. I love it. Yeah, and then cats as well.
Oh, what are the cats' names?
So we have Granite. We adopted from the local Humane Society. We have Obsidian. You see how this is going. So Granite is the name that he came with. Obsidian, his original name was Helga because they thought that he was a girl at the rescue. So we had to change his name. So we're like, okay, well, we're going to match Granite and he's going to be Obsidian. And then we have Mooncake. Mooncake's original name was Oatcake, and so it was my husband's cat, so he got to name him. And apparently Mooncake, and I haven't seen the anime, but apparently he's named after an anime, a character that likes to destroy worlds. I don't, which is fitting for a cat.
Oh, fun! It'd be so funny if you just name your next one Rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, Rocky.
Rocky.
For the Project Hail Mary.
Oh, you've got some fun going on in your household. It's all the 6 animals and plus some rescues that you foster once in a while as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. We have fosters on a regular basis. Whenever I'm live streaming, I always try to bring the fosters down when I can. Our job is to get them social enough so that they can be adopted.
Yeah. Oh, that's really sweet. Well, that was fun. Thank you for braving the lightning round, Robin. So I've mentioned your website at quiltoni.com with 1 T, where we can find all the things we've talked about today. Where's the best place for us to connect with you on social media?
Definitely Instagram, Quiltoni Quilts. It is really quickly, the reason why it's Quiltoni Quilts and not Quiltoni is if you go to Quiltoni, it's a dude that took it before I was able to take it, and he wanted $10,000 for it. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" No, I am Quiltoni Quilts.
so Quiltoni Quilts on Instagram and everywhere else online, it's Quiltoni. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Yep. Okay. Well, as we wrap up today, Toni, what do you want people to take away most from our conversation today?
It's just spread joy. Something I like to say at the end of all of my live streams is try to find one instance in the next 24 hours where you can spread joy to another person, whether it is hold the door open for someone, compliment them on their hair, on their shirt, on their shoes. Find something to make somebody else smile, because if you can do that, the world is just going to be better.
Oh, that is such a great message. And it actually brings something to mind that happened to me recently that someone brought me joy in exactly that way. I had recently gone fully gray with my hair, which was a hard thing because I loved I dyed my hair before and I thought, I'm going to go gray. I'm going to go natural. I'm finally going to do it. And this was the first time I was out in public with my full head of gray hair, all styled and everything. And someone in an airport came up to me, a total stranger, and said my hair looked beautiful. And I thought it did not. I was gray. I thought, I didn't want to. Anyway, it really made my day. And it was after 8 hours of flight delays. And it was just, I was having a miserable day. But that is such a good way to end the podcast. Just take a moment to do anything you can do to make someone's day. The smallest little thing, right? I love it. Well, Toni, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So that was my show with Toni Smith. What delights me most about Quiltoni is that infectious joy she brings everywhere. She caters to the beginner in her workshops and makes sewing accessible and achievable for everyone. But on top of that, she makes it ridiculously fun. Another thing is she's always celebrating her students, her followers, and her own progress and wins every step of the way. I think we could all take a lesson from that to celebrate things in our own lives. And if you want to support the wonderful work she is doing, 50K for 50Q to raise funds for the Starlight Children's Foundation, you can go to Toni's website, and 50K for 50Q is right there on top of the website. So I encourage you to grab a cup of tea and follow Quiltoni Quilts on Instagram. You might just get lost in her fun-filled feed and find a world where you really belong. So today, I loved sharing the story of Quiltoni with you. Just give me 30 seconds of your time. 2 things I want to say. The first thing is a huge thank you for listening and tuning into the show week after week. It means the world to me and my team, which consists of James, my podcast producer, DG, my virtual assistant, and Luna, my chocolate lab. This podcast really is a dream that started with the notion of surrounding myself with people who lift me up, but it has turned into so much more than that. We absolutely couldn't have imagined becoming an award-winning podcast. But secondly, we feel like we're only just getting started. And if you enjoy what we do here, please go to your favorite social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube, and follow Quilter on Fire. It's one small thing you can do for free to support this show. And here's a promise I'm going to make to you. I'll do everything in my power to make this the best show I can, just for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the Quilter on Fire podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts. Your support helps me reach more quilters just like you, striving for that perfect quilty lifestyle. Click on those 5 stars and share what you loved most about today's episode. Don't forget to hit the follow button if you haven't already. With new episodes dropping weekly, you won't want to miss out on the inspiring stories and tips we have in store. Until next time, dream big and have fun in the studio with the Quilter on Fire.